Hello everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel Lawyer Stuff. I am Jinisha Shah and the topic for today's video is the doctrine of judicial review. So what is judicial review? The doctrine of judicial review was for the first time propounded by the Supreme Court of America in the landmark case of Marbury versus Medicine. The word judicial review can be defined as the power granted to the court to examine the actions of the legislative, executive, and the administrative branches of the government and to determine whether such actions are in consonance with the Constitution. In other words, judicial review is the power of the court to take an active role in ensuring that the other branches of the government abide by the Constitution while exercising their powers and performing their functions. The doctrine is based on the principles of rule of law and separation of powers. In India, among the three organs of the government, the judiciary plays an important role to protect and interpret the constitutional values by safeguarding the rights and interests of the individuals by exercising the power of judicial review. The Indian Constitution adopted the doctrine of judicial review on the lines of the American Constitution. Though there is no explicit or direct provision regarding judicial review, yet it is ingrained in the Constitution. However, the doctrine of judicial review can be seen in form of Article 13, which states that the states or union shall not make any law that take away or abridge the fundamental rights of the citizens, and any such law made in contravention to the provision of this article shall be void. This power to decide whether the law is void or not is given to the judiciary, thus making the judiciary supreme in this respect. The Constitution also provides for certain other provisions regarding judicial review in shape of Article 131 to Article 136, Article 137, Article 245, Article 246 and Article 372. The power of judicial review is vested upon the High Courts and the Supreme Court of India under Article 226 and 32 of the Constitution respectively. The central focus of judicial review is to protect the fundamental rights of the citizens as enshrined in Part 3 of the Constitution. Moreover, in the landmark case of Keshwanand Bharti versus Union of India, the Supreme Court propounded the doctrine of basic structure, according to which the legislature has the power to amend the Constitution, but such power should not change the basic structure of the Constitution, thereby giving the judiciary the power to review amendment laws too. Subsequently, in Minerva Mill's case, the Supreme Court incorporated the doctrine of judicial review under the purview of basic structure. The scope of judicial review before the Indian courts has emerged in three dimensions. Firstly, it implies the power of the court to ensure that the laws passed by the legislature are in consonance with the provisions of the Constitution and to rule on the question of legislative competence between the center and the states. Secondly, it is a tool to enforce constitutional discipline over administrative actions. Thirdly, it is a device to protect the fundamental rights of the individuals guaranteed by the Constitution. Thus, it can be said that judicial review is important for maintaining the supremacy of the Constitution, for checking upon the possible misuse of power by the legislative and the executive, to protect the rights of the citizens, and for securing the independence of the judiciary. Thus, the doctrine of judicial review is the interposition of the judicial restraint on the legislative, executive, and judicial actions of the government. With the power of judicial review, the courts acts as a custodian of the fundamental rights. However, with the growing function of modern state, the judicial intervention in executive and legislative domain has also increased. Though it is a fact that judicial review is important, but absolute power to review cannot be granted. And by observing judicial review as a basic structure of the Constitution, the courts in India have given altogether different meaning to the theories of checks and balances. It has buried the concept of separation of powers and given itself an unfettered jurisdiction to review anything and everything that is done by the legislature and the executive. However, the growth of judicial review is the inevitable response of the judiciary to ensure proper check on the exercise of powers by the legislature and the executive, and thus the importance of this doctrine cannot be disregarded. Thank you. That's all for the topic on judicial review.